Hello once again everyone. This video will be about how to complete the VCSIM LAB09. LAB9. LAB9 is about storage. We're introducing storage now. The objectives of this one, we're going to create a iSCSI data store, view the existing iSCSI configuration, add a VMKernel port for IP storage, and a few other things. Let's get started. We'll close the objectives, open up here. I've got these set side by side. View an existing ESXi host configuration. So the iSCSI software adapter configuration has been pre-configured for ESXi01. So they want us to take a look at that and familiarize ourselves with that configuration. So using the vSphere client, log in, administrator at vSphere.local, standard lab password. After we log in, go to inventory, host and clusters. We go to inventory. We're already there, but showing you how to get there. Main menu, inventory, and then on the left is the host and clusters icon. After we get there, click the host and clusters. Okay, select ESXi01. ESXi01 is right here. Click configure, storage adapters. So we click configure, storage adapters. We might have to click in here if you're not in the right place. Storage adapters. Ours just landed at the correct place. And let's see, storage adapters. In the storage adapters pane, verify, one moment. Sorry, I had to cough there offline. Under storage adapters, we want to select MHBA65. The top one. We'll select that. And this is our iSCSI software adapter. Someone's already created it. This is our example. So we select that and verify that online appears in the status. Online is right over to the right here under status. It is online. Review the properties. In the storage adapters, click the properties tab. In the storage adapters pane, click the properties tab. Okay. Properties tab. I know it's here. Okay, I had to click the double arrows. Excuse me, I'm having to cough a little. Trying to do that offline. Properties. View the adapter status. It's enabled. And the adapter name, VMHBA65. The adapter iSCSI name. Well, it's this long IQN number, which is an iSCSI qualified name. Okay, select Devices tab. Devices. Verify that the following LUNs appear. We should see some LUNs, and these are logical unit numbers. We see 0, 2, 5, 6, and that's what they ask us to verify. LUN 2 and 5 had a status of not consumed. Okay, let's see if we can scroll over to the right. Not consumed is right here. Okay, they're not consumed. So LUN 0 and 5 are already formatted with the VMFS data store. And we can see right here the data store name. Okay, select Dynamic Discovery. Click Dynamic Discovery in the tab, and we see iSCSI server, and we see the IP address. And the port is 3260. Name and 3260. How many port groups? Okay, we see Dynamic Discovery. How many port groups are listed, and what are their names? How many port groups are listed? Select the network port binding. Okay, we have IP storage 1, IP storage 2. IP storage 1, IP storage 2, and that's their names. Task 2. In the navigation pane, select SA ESXi02. On Configure, select VMKernel ports. On Configure, select VMKernel ports under Networking. So we'll go to Networking, VMKernel ports, VMKernel adapters, Add Networking. We click Add Networking, and it's a VMKernel port, that's correct. Click Next. Now we're going to create a new standard switch. New standard switch, the bottom selection. And click Next. On the Select Target page, we're on the standard switch. We click Next there, and we just click Next. No, we don't. We have to select VMNIC5. Go back to VMNIC5 and move it down under the selected, under the active adapters. Move down. VMNIC5 is now under active adapters, and I think that's what they wanted. Yes. Let's see. VM5 and 6. Move 6 down also. Unfortunately, I got too many things going on here. Okay, let's move these up. And deselect that, and then select this and move it up. We want 5 and 6 under active adapters, and they are now. So, if you make a mistake like I did, you just move them around till they get there. Click Next. On the Port Properties page, enter IP Storage 1. IP Storage 1. IP space storage space 1. And click Next. Okay, we're not selecting anything. Our iSCSI doesn't have a checkbox, so we move onward. On the IPv4 settings, use a static IP address. And put in 172.20.10.62. 172.20.10.62. The subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. And we're not putting in a gateway. Just click Next. And then Finish. Verify that VMK1 appears in the VMKernel adapters. It does. It's right here. In the Configure tab, view the VMKernel adapter and the network topology. In the Configure tab, select Virtual Switches. Configure, Networking, Virtual Switches. Collapse DVS Lab and expand Switch 2. Verify that IP Storage 1 port group appears and VMK1 is a VMKernel port. It is. And in the IP Storage port 1 group, okay, verify that the IP Storage 1 group appears and VMK1 is a VMKernel port in the group. It is. In the IP Storage 1 port group, select VMK1. Okay, I select it. The topology shows that VM1 is connected to both VMNIC 5 and 6, and it did. It showed us the path it's taking. You must connect VMNIC 1 to one of those uplinks. Okay. Click the vertical ellipsis to the right of IP storage IP storage 1, I should say. Click this, click Edit Settings. Let's see. Edit Settings. Click Teaming and Failover. So we have to click the 3 lines here to get to Properties and Teaming and Failover. Click on Teaming and Failover. Click the Override checkbox. In Failover Order, Override. Select VMNIC6 and move it down until it appears under the Unused. So we have 2 of these. We want to move this one down till it appears under Unused. You click VMNIC to select it, and then click VMNIC again to deselect it. It's kind of sticky. VMNIC 5 must be the only active adapter, and that's correct. Alright, click OK. In the topology, select VMNIC 1, selected, and now we see that it's only going to VMNIC 5 as they want us to see. Now add a second VMKernel port for task 3. Add a second VMKernel port for IP storage. You can configure a second VMKernel port and port group on vSwitch 2 on ESXi O2. So in the navigation pane, select ESXi O2. Okay, we're going back up to ESXi O2 right here. And on the Configure tab, select VMKernel ports. Configure, Network, VMKernel adapters. Click Add Networking. Alright, Add Networking. We're going to add a VMKernel port. Click Next. That's correct. On the Select Target page, select an existing standard switch. It's number 2. Click vSwitch 2 and click Next. On the Port Properties page, enter IP Storage 2. IP Storage 2. IP Storage 2. Okay, where was it? Right here. Use static. IP Storage 2 on the IPv4 settings page. Okay, that was all we had. Next. On this, use a static IP. Excuse me, I keep coughing. Just a moment. IP address will be 172.20.10.72, and the subnet mask is 255.255.255.0, 24-bit. And click Next. On the Ready to Complete, finish. Verify that IP2 storage appears in the VMKernel adapters. It does. View the VMKernel adapters in the Configure. Click Virtual Switches. Okay, we'll go here, click Networking, Virtual Switches. Verify a port group named IP Storage 2 appears. It does. And VMNIC2, VMK2 is a VMKernel port in the port group, and it is at the very bottom. In the IP Storage 2 port group, select VMK2. And we can see the topology shows VMK2 is connected to all the active uplinks. We must connect VMK2 to just one of those uplinks. So click the ellipsis next to the right of IP Storage 2. Got it? And edit settings. Okay, we can't see it, so we have to click here. Go to Teaming and Failover. failover order, click override. And then we're going to move VMNIC5 down until it's under unused. Sort of the opposite of last time. We click this, move it down, deselect it, and VMNIC6 is the only active adapter. Then we click OK. Then we select VMNIC2 in the IP storage here, and we see that it's only active to VMNIC6. Okay. In task 4, add the iSCSI software adapter to the ESXi host. So we go to ESXi02, configure storage adapters. Configure storage adapters, add a software adapter, and it will be an iSCSI software adapter. Click OK. There were 3 here. Now there's 4. Okay, so we've added it. Select the newly created thing that we just made. It's the software adapter at the top. We're going to view the properties, so we click the double arrows. We go to properties. Make sure it's enabled. It is. Verify the iSCSI name matches. It does. IQN.1998, etc. The # symbol represents characters that might change. Okay, good to know. Now, task 5, discover LUNs on the iSCSI target server. We have to finish our configuration in order to see them, so they'll tell us how. In the storage adapters, ensure that VMHBA65 is selected. It is. It's what we selected last. In the send target server window, let's go back just a little. Go back to storage adapters. Okay, so in the send targets service window, okay, let's make sure that that is selected. I need to see the one that is selected. Okay. No, I don't want to add one. In the dynamic discovery, click add. That's what we want. Add. And we're going to put 172.20.10.15 in the iSCSI server. And the port is 3260. That's our default port. Click OK. In the storage adapters, click network port binding. Network port binding is here. Click add. We need to bind it to something. We need to bind it to a way to get there. So we're going to select IP storage 1 and IP storage 2. Select both of them. And click OK. And we've done something now. Okay, now we've bound it and we should be able to start seeing some things. So we're going to click on rescan. We're going to click on rescan adapter. Let's give it a moment and refresh here. Click the IP storage 1, click OK. Okay. We're not seeing rescan adapter available yet. I'll look at recent task. And it looks like everything's completed. Well, I don't see the option to rescan, so let me go to network port binding. says it's compliant, but the path is not used. Okay. Let's go to paths, devices. Okay. Go to the network port binding again. I'll rescan storage. Then go to paths and port binding. Now we're showing the path is active. Okay. Rescan adapter never became open for us, never became available. So let's look at this adapter again. The top adapter. Network port binding. We're going to click this again. Go to network port binding. Okay, we see the path is active. And select Devices tab. And now we see our LUNs are available. Just took it a moment. LUN 2 and 6 have a status of not consumed. 2 and 6 not, yes. 0 and 5 are already formatted. Yes, they are. Okay, so that's the end of our lab. That's all they wanted us to see. And now we have LUNs available to do things with. Thank you for watching.